Welcome back to Weaponized. It's been quite a long week, but we're here with yet another episode to talk about all things within the games industry. And with that, I have to mention a video I saw today on the news that apparently the United Kingdom does not allow children to purchase butter knives.
Oh my God, what? They're so
Which
serious about that stuff, bro. It's like it's the only weapon they have, is
I
knives.
just like I don't know, man. It's nothing against I have a lot of people that I'm friends with that live in the United Kingdom and in England in general. But man, I'll tell you, it's like I did not realize like how much of a culture shock difference it was between America and the United Kingdom until a couple years ago. But I just saw that video today and they sent like rogue decoys of 16-year-olds into a store to buy butter knives and they didn't ID them.
Oh my God, they didn't ID the kids buying butter knives. Have you seen the TV police?
Yes.
Yeah, where they're like, "We know that you're illegally streaming BBC." And it's like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" Like, I can't believe they pull up to your house.
The Brits are getting a bad rep this week, man. Keith Lee, if you're unfamiliar, there's this guy on TikTok that goes around and basically just reviews a bunch of food from all these places. Well,
Yeah, he's from Vegas.
Apparently he's in the United Kingdom this week because I saw a video on Twitter yesterday of him trying beans and toast and he hated it. And I'm like, oh man, the Brits are getting a bad rep this week, man. The British. But anywho, I think, gosh, it's been a busy week. We already kind of went over the Marvel Rivals layoffs, the Marvel Rivals layoffs.
Mabble.
That's fun. I think really, I really want to talk about Square Enix because I think people need to realize Square Enix is not going to be here this year.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think it's going to happen.
They're gone.
No, I don't think they're gone.
Well, they're absent.
They're absent. I mean, I can't remember the last year where we went into February knowing like absolutely nothing about a future like Square Enix game. The only thing we know right now is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD. That's it.
Yeah, they're a really big studio, so they're a massive company, so it's wild to just see that we have nothing from them, or at least nothing substantial that they're dropping. And it's no disrespect to Dragon Quest, of course, but we just don't have anything substantial that we know is coming out this year.
Games.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, because like that's the thing. I think, unfortunately, I think that Kingdom Hearts fans are going to be disappointed this year.
Yeah,
I don't think that Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming out this year. I don't think it's coming out in early 2026. I don't know. I expect that late 2026 to maybe even 2027 is when that game's coming out. And as for why I think that, I have my reasons. But I think really people kind of need to take a step back and look at the drawing board and realize that, Square in the past couple of years has put out some just huge titles, right? Kingdom Hearts aside, I mean, Rebirth, 16, all these big major games. So I really don't think anyone should be surprised if this is kind of a more quiet year for the company. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about that online, being like, wow, like Square's really just gone and absent and not doing anything. And I think that that's something you kind of just need to start expecting at this point. I still think we're going to get some good games from this year, and, we can dive into that in a minute, but I just don't think it's smart or reasonable, I would say, to expect like Kingdom Hearts 4 or some crazy mid games this year.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I mean, they have always been a company that takes their time making things, specifically AAAs. On the Japanese side, they sold their United States division a while ago. So, I mean, that's pretty much gone. Everything's gone from the Western side of Square. So, yeah. I mean, we really have Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Nier, Kingdom Hearts, and that's pretty much Square Enix. So,
yeah. And then the countless AA titles.
Yeah, they have a bunch. Bravely Default, Octopath Traveler, and the other random
Saga, Mana, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to call those random, but they are comparatively random to the ones that we previously mentioned. So
Yeah. I mean, I think Square's done a good job of growing their AA department in the last couple of years. And I also think that people need to realize that, the company just went through pretty major restructuring not that long ago. And I think that, if you'll remember, a lot of titles were canceled as a part of that initiative. They canceled a bunch of stuff that's never going to see the light of day. For one reason or another, because they're, in line with this new initiative with, they restructured their creative studios into all this stuff. So I just think that, again, it's pretty unreasonable to expect another major AAA game. The only thing I think that might hit this year, and honestly, who knows, man, but Yoko Taro's next game, we
yeah,
talked a little bit about it previously, but Yoko Taro's just one of those guys. It's like, he's been working on that game forever. If it is near, come on, by the way, it has to be near. I mean, it has to be.
of course.
But if it's near, I think that this would be a great year to launch it, considering Square doesn't have anything else. And, you think about the future of after this year, you've got, Final Fantasy IX Remake, you've got Kingdom Hearts 4, and you've got Part 3 for Final Fantasy VII. And then beyond that, who knows? But I think those are your big 3 AAA games that are coming after. But I just don't think anything's happening this year. And I mean, I think with Kingdom Hearts 4 in particular, if we see it this year, I honestly don't think that's because Square wants us to.
Yeah, I think Square is the only studio outside of Capcom that has so many insane bangers. Everything you mentioned is just nuts to think about that's all from the same company.
I know.
Which is wild. So, I mean, this is the one company that I'll give a pass for not being around all the time, because when they do drop something, it's incredibly high quality, at least recently. I wouldn't say back in the 15 era that was the same case. But with Rebirth being as amazing and as large and as profound as it is, and regardless of how people feel about Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind was an amazing experience, obviously. I mean, if you guys haven't played that, definitely pick it up, play it on Critical, and beat yourself up until you win, because that's how you should be playing the game. Now,
True.
I think Square is just, biding their time, and I think they're playing it safe. I thought that the sale of their United States and Western, divisions, I think that was a good idea. Just because the studio, the publisher generally, they want to focus on quality. They want to be able to have more control over what they put out. And obviously it's not that they don't have control, but they have more control and more focus when they have less things to make and less things to fund. So, inevitably, I think that they're going to drop quite a lot of bangers in the late 2020s, which is crazy to say. The other half of the 2020s. But Square, they were one of the first studios to, if you remember Square Pictures, they were one of the first studios to just say, hey, we're going to have movies, we're going to have Spirits Within. And even though Spirits Within is not very good, and I mean, that's an understatement, honestly. But
yeah, well, regardless of how you feel about the movie, what it did to Square is insane.
Oh, I know. It didn't do well for them financially, but it did show that they had the ability to create insane visuals, unlike any of their peers or adversaries just in the movie canon, right? No other studio was putting out CG like that at the time that they did it. And with Advent Children, I mean, it couldn't be more clear that Square was ahead of the game. Even Kingsglaive, which I vehemently despise. Even Kingsglaive looks
Aaron
very
Paul.
good. Yeah, oh my God. I had a couple of friends watch that for the first time and they were like, it was good. And I'm like, did you play 15? Were you there? Do you even know what you're even talking about? No, it was not good. It was terrible. So, but I mean, it looks good from a CG perspective. It looks good. So Square has always, been a studio about ever since FF7, and we've talked about this before, but they've always been focused on having the best visuals, beating their adversaries, their competitors at this game of just swag and sauce and aura, and they're going to do it again with Cage 4. They're going to do it again with Part 3, and they're going to do it again with DQ12, So I think they got it in the bag. obviously, we're just going to have to wait, and I'm fine with waiting. I understand it. I've been around, the Square, just as a Square fan. I was going to say just Square's entire discography of things. Like, I've been
Squares and
around since I was a
triangles
kid.
and circles.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been a fan for a while. So, I got Kingdom Hearts 1 when I was 6 years old.
You might be a fan of squares. I'm kind of a fan of trapezoids. A little bit of rectangles too.
Yeah, I like circles. Circles are nice. People get excited about circles.
Yeah, they do. Especially they also really get excited about X's, which they swear is cross, which is really dumb.
Well,
PlayStation.
Honestly, it's been cross since the inception. It's just that
I know it has.
We
it's
never, it's wild, but I get it based off of the fact that the other ones are also shapes.
Oh, for sure.
So,
for sure.
When you put it into perspective, it's like when NVIDIA was like, yeah, it's TI, not TI. And I'm like, well, we've been calling it TI, but we are wrong.
And we still call it TI.
Of course, we still call it TI, but genuinely, objectively, we're wrong. Because
sure.
TI means titanium. That's what it means.
Right.
Right. So when he says TI, nobody says TI. That's a Jensen Huang thing. Like TI. I don't know. It's TI. I'm sorry. But I get it. Titanium. Whatever. Whatever that's supposed to mean.
It's fair. I think you make a great point about, Square just constantly pushing visuals. I thought Rebirth, the character models and the detail was some of the best in the industry last year, especially on PC now. But yeah, no, they're doing great things. I will say, it is really quite humorous to me that I've seen multiple creators and people that act like they're involved with Square claim that they've heard things about games, and I'm sitting here
my God.
Okay.
A bunch of people just capping.
I'm not going to sit here this is not, let's be honest. I'm just going to be honest. Being in media, you absolutely hear things. I will be, I heard about probably 6 or 7 of the announcements of the Game Awards. I keep it to myself. I keep my mouth shut. Why do I want to ruin the surprise for other people?
Of course.
I can tell you that, yes, there is definitely stuff that is legitimate about Square out there, and the stuff that creators are reporting is hilarious. Now, I'm not talking about FF9 or anything, but I don't know. I'm referencing one thing in particular that happened a while back, specifically about Kingdom Hearts 4, where it was I heard this thing, and I was just like, dude, okay.
Complete cap. Complete
it's
cap.
fine. And again, it's just kind of what we talked about last episode about, it's all about, the following and the popularity. And I get it. It's fun to act like or to, portray yourself as someone in the know. I totally get it. I feel like everyone goes through that at some point where, you get a piece of information that you have that no one else has. And this is not just with leaks or anything, just really anything in life, right?
Of course.
You have something that no one else has. And, you kind of get, you kind of feel like you have power over other people. It just happens, and I think it's, I don't know. My advice would be don't believe everything you see and be patient, I think is my advice on that. But yeah, I adore Square Enix. It's my, my favorite studio. Is it even, there's so many studios inside of it, but favorite publisher, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited for what they've got coming up. And I don't know, it's just weird. It's definitely weird, but I've got enough, for me, Xenoblade X and Death Stranding 2, that's enough for me for this year. I'm good. Close the book. You guys can enjoy Concord 2 and all that. I'm going to take my quote unquote walking simulator, which, oh man, that's a game, man. Death Stranding, I'm working on a pretty big project for Death Stranding that'll probably come out sometime in the summer. But
I'm
it's
excited
just so
to see
funny
it.
to me. Oh, dude, I'm really excited for everyone to see it. It's one of those things that's been in my mind for so many years, and I just haven't had the time or energy to do it. But man, it makes me so mad still to this day that people just boil down Death Stranding to, oh, it's Kojima crap or it's a walking simulator, and it's that game. It's might be crazy. This is definitely a crazy statement. I fully acknowledge that, but I genuinely believe that Death Stranding is one of the most underrated games of all time, solely for the fact that it is made to weed people out who don't have patience. Like it
It's
is. That's
true.
how it's made. And I'm so excited for the sequel. I mean, we got,
Yeah, I
Troy Baker
rewatched
coming
that
back
trailer
as a,
literally
oh, it's so
yesterday.
good. It's so good, man. Dude, Kojima has been in the booth, man. Like I'm
I
still so
know.
mad that we didn't get a new trailer for State of Play last week, but like South by Southwest, there is a 98% chance that trailer is going to drop there and it's going to be insane. I'm going to be geeked, dude. Like
Oh, I
Kojima,
know.
man. Dude, he is I know people, every episode we talk about Kojima. He's overrated. You're wrong. Okay, that's great. Good for you. But I'm telling you, one of the most incredible visionaries in this industry. And I'm sorry, like his trailer editing is amazing. He makes the best trailers. I
Yeah,
mean, he
bro.
does.
Freaking sliding with the guitar
Dude,
and then turning it into a
take that one,
freaking
right?
axe.
I go back to thinking about Death Stranding and the trailer that he edited for E3 2018, which
Yeah.
was the one with Asylums for the Feeling. Amazing. With Silent Poets. My favorite one that he did was the final trailer for Death Stranding that released in, I think it was November or October, but it was the one with BB's theme that just builds up and such a good trailer. But also, I mean, he did the one with Apocalyptica and Path in May that revealed the release date for the game. I mean, that was awesome. He's awesome at trailers. They're so fun to watch. It just gives me such an energy that no one else can, and I'm just really excited for the next one, man. I just hope Death Stranding's not like November, but at this point, I kind of feel like it's gonna be.
Yeah, probably. Not gonna lie, bro. Kojima is probably one of the most creative, multifaceted directors, auteurs, mind you. He's one of the most multifaceted auteurs in the gaming industry, if not just the entire industry collectively, right? Just the collective industry of entertainment media, right? And I wanted to go back to the part of the podcast where we were talking about, creators capping, right? When you're in the industry, and I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but you just know when these people are lying because you hear things. And if I haven't heard something, 99% of the time, they're making it up, like they're just making it up because we're paying attention constantly. Our job is to cover this stuff, and there's a lot of things we avoid talking about because we don't want to disappoint these companies that we're working with,
And
reporting on rumors.
That. It's not even that. It's just like, I mean, our reporting style has always been just like, straight to the point, no BS, right? And with that, we really don't report on very many rumors. Like if we report on a rumor, it's coming from what I would consider, internally at Final Weapon, I have a couple people that I'm like, this is an A tier source. So, people that are reporting on things like that are always accurate, like Nate the Hate as of late has been what I would consider a tier A source, right? If he says something's going to happen, we're probably going to report on it because he has the connections clearly as shown that he knows when stuff's going to happen. And, but it's funny when, I mean, and I get it. I think Nintendo YouTube suffers from this the most, but just the constant reporting of rumor. I mean, I saw the craziest rumor it was insane. It was literally that the next Mario game is actually not even about Mario at all, and you're going to just go through every single Nintendo IP as Mario and jump around between the worlds.
Sounds like Supreme Cap. They would never do that.
Do you genuinely believe that they're going to do that? No.
That doesn't even make sense.
No, it makes no sense. Nintendo would never do that.
What purpose would that have? Yeah. Why would Mario run around Hyrule Field? Where's there to jump? Are they just going to start making platforms?
Whoa. I mean, I think that's kind of a crazy take considering that Mario's already
He's running around in Smash Brothers.
He's in Mario Kart.
Oh,
he's
that's true. That's true. Hyrule Field is in...
Tell me why Mario be running around in Bionis interiors, some crap, man.
Like, oh my God. Like, what would be the purpose, dude? People are thinking about video games like it's some sort of Unreal Engine 5 Cryzen video where the graphics are turned all the way up and it's just Link with like 5 billion pores in his face running around in a cave full of lighting, just insane lighting, RTX and spiders on the wall. Like,
it's literally that Mario Unreal Engine, like, hire this
Nintendo,
man video.
hire this man. Nintendo, like, that's what these people think. Like, that's how their brain works. Just
Dude,
complete
I'll
insanity.
Tell you, man, you definitely, if you ever want a good laugh and, you're like, all right, I want to see some content that's funny and, whatever. First, go look at Final Fantasy VII shipper posts. Second, go look at Nintendo rumors in the comments. I mean, I think it's great that people dream, but oh my gosh, some of the stuff people are like, I'm dead sure that we're getting 3 new Mario games this year, all this and that. And it's like, man, I would hate to be you because I feel like I'd be disappointed
3?
all the time.
What do they mean by 3? Like, do they mean 3 overall or 3 main lines? Like, what are they saying?
I saw a tweet that said that, and there's definitely people online that definitely like to post some satire, right? And it's funny, but a lot of this is real. I mean, like, I saw a tweet that was like, my dream first year, this is the most realistic one I could come up with. Like, we're going to get another 2D Mario game. It's been 2 years since Wonder. It's time. They need to put another game out. I'm like, bro, like, that's insane, first off. 3D Mario Kart. Oh, yeah, we're going to get Galaxy 2. I'm just like, yeah. Dude, Nintendo messed up not putting Galaxy 2 on Switch. But,
no, I agree. I was shocked when the All-Stars collection came out and there was no Galaxy 2. That was weird to me.
Oh, I wasn't. That's the most Nintendo thing ever, dude. They couldn't give you 4 games for the price of $60. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they're like 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy.
See, I'm surprised that they didn't pack Galaxy 2 in and do something like Square Enix did with the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection. It's the only company on the market that would charge you $75 for a bunch of SNES games.
They're like, guys, we changed it slightly. Doesn't it look good?
Oh my God.
I'm like, it's great. Thanks, guys.
Dude, and people were paying crazy prices for those. I managed to get a PS4 physical copy. I bought one whenever they got announced. I was like, oh, awesome. And I never opened it because I just didn't really have a reason to. And I remember like reading an article one day talking about how rare they were. So I went to eBay and like copies were selling for like $1,500 sealed. I'm like,
it's
oh
nuts.
my God. And then just a couple weeks later, they announced that they brought them back. But I'm like, I don't care because I bought it for my collection. But it's just so crazy that people are willing to pay that much for, games. But I mean, hey, at least you actually own them, right? Unlike digital.
It's true. That's true. And with the Pixel remasters, I mean, thank you, Square, for putting us on your aggregation. But like, those, I haven't even bought the collection personally, which is crazy.
I have them on 2 platforms, PS4, and I have them on Switch as well.
It's crazy.
I need to go hopefully this year. I'm hoping I get some time, which, yeah, that's the biggest question. I'm hoping I get some time so I can go and jump on a PS5 and get the platinum for 1 through 6 because I've got like so many of the Final Fantasy platinums at this point.
That's a deep dive, bro.
Dude, but I want to, man. I want to so bad. Like I've got FF7, FF8. I'm got to do FF9 and FF10 platinums, but I've got FF7, FF8, all of the FF7s. So the original, Crisis Core, remake on PS5.
Dude, FF10 and
Rebirth.
10-2's platinum is nuts.
It's hard.
That's so difficult.
9's even harder. 9's hard.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just know that 10's platinum is unbelievable. Like, it's so hard.
Dude, the platinum grind is something I don't know. That's my biggest hope for Switch 2 is that we get achievements because, like, I just really want them.
That would be huge,
so
especially if they had achievements on the older Switch titles or just like the first Switch.
Some people will be getting exposed, man.
Are you seeing these rumors about these Pokemon collections? Like, what's going on with that?
I have no idea. That seems like a weird collection to me, if I'm being honest.
It does, yeah. The names are also not believable whatsoever. Like, the rumors that I'm seeing, like Memories and Reminiscence. You think that they would name a collection Reminiscence?
I don't know. I mean,
a series for children?
Crazy.
I don't know, bro. That's wild. That's some Nomura crap. Not gonna lie. Also, the black and white remakes. I mean, like that's just a rumor that you could just throw out any year any month that a Pokemon Day is happening and be like, oh, they didn't show it at this one, but they'll show it at the next one. It's like, bro, if we get black and white remakes. Like, how much budget. I mean, obviously it's Pokemon.
I hope they
Company.
look
have
like the
so much
Diamond
money.
and Pearl ones. They were so
No,
good.
no. Stop it. Stop it, please. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Black and White, probably one of my favorite just like DS video games.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
so
they're like beloved by everyone, and Game
they
Freak
have
is
the
gonna
best
find
plot.
a way.
They have the best plot. I think you're being crazy and you're hurting my feelings.
I don't think I'm being crazy.
Dude,
I think I'm being realistic.
I do not
I'm
want to
blunt.
see no Ilka, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, bro. I don't want it. I do not want it. I do not want it. I do not want it. I will
did
literally
you
crash
see
out.
The craziest thing that I saw in that rumor, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is that apparently, and there is no way to verify this, but if this is true, it is so funny. It is so funny that the rumor says that apparently the Pokemon Works is a new studio formed by the Pokemon Company and Ilka.
Huh? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. That sounds wild.
I think that they had too much budget for Diamond and Pearl, and I think we need to lower the budget.
No. Okay. No. And by the way, the rumor about memories and reminiscence, the craziest part of it is that they're linked to home. So you can transfer all of your Pokemon to home from these ports. And I'm like, what are you?
Here's the thing. The thing for me, that the reason that I think it's a crazy rumor, but I also think it's somewhat believable solely for the fact that those games that they said were in that collection, because it's what, like yellow, blue, red, and that kind of stuff.
I think it's like,
it's
I'm
like,
trying to
yeah,
remember.
it's
I think it was like
yellow,
Sapphire, Ruby,
red,
you
gold,
know.
ruby, blue, silver, sapphire, leaf green, yellow, crystal, emerald.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm being honest, those games aren't on Switch Online, are they?
No, they're not.
So-
and
so
I think
see, that
TPC
makes
is just very
sense.
particular about that, though.
I don't know, but I mean, you think
Yeah.
about it. Like, if we're being honest, that is actually a credible point of the rumor. Although someone could have easily put that together, but that's a credible point of that rumor solely for the fact that those games aren't on Switch Online, and maybe this was the reason for that. You know, who knows? I mean, I don't know.
But I can't even imagine TPC, just me knowing the games that they release and how simplistic they do things. I can't imagine that those titles are real. Now you can make up the rumor and put as many believable, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They should do that. But you think anything that they do ever makes sense in the first place? They
No,
just make
they're
money. They
boneheaded.
don't make sense. Yeah. They make money. They don't make sense. They make dollars, So, get the pennies out of the way, bro. You think they're going to do that? That's wild. If they do that, it's going to be one of the best decisions they've ever made, honestly. To have all of the like older, epic, legendary Pokemon games be available on Switch Plus, you can actually transfer your Pokemon to home. I mean, that would literally blow my mind.
It'd be
that
sick.
would be epic. Yeah, that would be super epic and a genius idea. Alongside the rumor that I had heard, which I do believe this one's real, about TPC working on a like sort of, I think it was supposed to be like a battle simulator of some sort. I'm trying to remember. But, they had Battle Revolution. They had Battle Revolution on the Wii. And that was the Diamond and Pearl era, 4th gen, battle simulator on the Wii with the crazy animations and the commentator, and the dope PvP. And I don't know what they're going to do. Pokemon Showdown is really big. It's not owned by Nintendo. It's not owned by TPC. But it has a lot of players. And it's like, a browser-based just dueling simulator, And if Nintendo / TPC is making their own, I think that's the best idea that they could have, especially because they've been focused on divvying up the meta for those games ever since Sword and Shield, or at least that was their excuse for not having all of the Pokemon in it originally, was that they felt like the meta for competitive was messed up and that they wanted to start from scratch. But also it's like, if you have a battle simulator, like in Showdown, for instance, you can pick, if you're playing an OU, if you're playing in Ubers, like you can pick what you're playing in and kind of, what format you're playing in. And if they have their own version of that, they could just say, yeah, play in this format or play, 8th gen only or 9th gen only. They could make that happen and they could divvy up the competitive scene, for people who play in certain, just people who play in certain formats. So I think that'd be a great idea. Competitive Pokemon is a lot bigger than you think. So it does make sense. And it's a credible excuse for Game Freak to make about why they would even remove the national decks, at least the form of the national decks that we had ever since, the beginning of when it was introduced, was that you could get every single Pokemon that had ever came out in the newest game, right? And then Sword and Shield, they stopped doing it, and then they had expansions that would give you more Pokemon, right? And then they would make a big deal about Pokemon returning, right? But Sword and Shield never had every single Pokemon that came out. And that was the exact same situation with Scarlet and Violet. There's Pokemon in Sword and Shield that are not in Scarlet and Violet, right? So I think what they're going to do is they're going to have a game, and I think this is the best idea for them, and I think this is a smart idea for them to have a video game where it is a battle simulator for not only the average Joe, but for competitive players to experience Pokemon, right? And be able to use all of their Pokemon from home in this one game. And then they can keep up this money-making machine of having expansions for their new generations, right? Like, for instance, Arceus has the Hisuian Pokemon, right? And so, there's different regional variants of Pokemon, and all of this could just be, a singular game that they update, right? And, we have Unite and we have other, games as a service games, but I think Pokemon could really kill the games as a service industry if they wanted to. They could really show out because they have the budget for it and they have the fandom. And I am 100% sure that if they made a GaaS game, that it would do numbers, because they just do numbers regardless, bro. Like I said, they don't make sense. They make dollars. So, that's the end of my point. But I think some of those rumors are, fairly credible. Some of them are very interesting, and some of them are very questionable.
I think that's fair. And, I think another person, speaking of rumors, that probably has a pretty inside in terms of the games industry is probably DJ Khaled. I think DJ Khaled, apparently, there's a rumor going around that he's getting his own radio station in GTA 6.
Oh my God! Did you see the fake news about Kendrick Lamar having a GNX radio station?
Yeah, I did. But no, this one's apparently real. It took everything, by the way, for me to sound serious saying that. By the way,
that's real.
Yeah, no, I'm being dead serious. There's
Is it only going to be DJ Khaled
it's
directed
his
songs?
Music. Yeah, it's only his music.
That's
and then he gets
so
his own
corny.
station. So
I don't like that at all.
The funniest part about it to me is I think they just need to have a station where it's just DJ Khaled and it just repeats the entire time.
No, I'm not gonna lie, that would be amazing. We need that. Sarcasm. But yeah, we definitely need that. I don't know how he
finessed his way into getting that, but honestly, DJ Khaled, one of the funniest people.
Historically.
Yeah,
historically.
I don't know if you've never seen DJ Khaled drive a jet ski. Please Google on YouTube.
God.
DJ Khaled gets lost on a jet ski.
Oh my God.
It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He actually did it twice. So he took his jet ski out one day. And the funniest part about all of this is that all of these always happen on social media, right? It's not like he got lost. And no, he films the entire thing. He films his entire life. And he took the jet ski out one day and got lost. And it got pitch black. And he's like, someone call my wife. Someone call my wife. And he's sitting here on the middle of the ocean. You see an oil drill just blinking behind him. And, the rigs are there. There's whatever. And it's pitch black. And then there was another one that he drove into this dam and he fell off the jet ski, filmed it, cut his leg, got stuck, and had to turn it around. And he's filming this something. He's like, someone call. He's always telling people to call someone. He's like,
I vividly remember us watching that together.
It's so funny.
Super hilarious.
So funny. Yeah, he's a character. Is the only way to describe him.
Yeah, he is a character.
I have no idea, man. GTA 6 apparently is still coming out this year, probably October. I don't know.
It's gonna be a huge game.
It's gonna be huge, but I'm honestly, I know that I'm probably sounding like a down in the dumps about this for no reason, but
Devil's
I
advocate.
really just wish that it wasn't not coming to PC day one.
Oh, I know. I was going to mention that. I'm like, Rockstar makes some very strange business decisions for how much money they make. I think they're so blinded by money that they don't know how to make good business decisions.
I think they just focus. from what the Take-Two CEO said, is that they just like to focus on one platform at a time, and so consoles are a platform. But
Yeah.
it's just so dumb. It's like, dude, I'd rather you delay the game for 3 or 4 months to get PC day one. Like, I think most people would rather have that happen too. My
Oh, I
biggest
know.
thing though, dude, and you guys can call me crazy, I'm gonna be so disappointed to the point that I'm not gonna be over the moon about it if there's not online day one. Because online's what I play. Like, the campaign's fun, don't get me wrong, but like GTA Online is like, that's the crap. Like, I put probably 300 hours into GTA Online on PC. I mean, especially with all the updates. I mean, the Bogdan heists and then the
Yeah.
casino and all that stuff. I mean, dude, I got everything in the game. That's the fun stuff for me. So I'm like, man, if they don't have online day one, I'm gonna kind of be like, man, like, might be backlog time to wait for online.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. I love GTA 5 story. I think it's incredible. I think Rockstar has great story modes. And that one is no different. I've played it many times. I am a big fan of GTA Online. What I will say is that if they don't drop GTA Online for 6 immediately, I feel like they're just staggering out the content deliberately. I can't imagine that it's because it's not ready. It's like, oh, we want people to play the single player first so that, they can cover it and it can be in the news. And then we can release the online and kind of stagger out the conversation. But it's going to have conversation for years anyway. It's GTA. On top of that, the reason why I mentioned Take-Two making weird business decisions based on the fact that they make a lot of money is because they just make so much money because their IPs are so strong. And so they don't have to have the same strategical battle, in the office, at the round table about how to, go about their business. They're just like, oh, we just dropped GTA 6 and we make a bunch of money. It's not like other companies who have to literally go, how do we get this game that nobody cares about to be successful? How do we market? They don't have to market GTA 6. They drop a trailer, boom. Oh, we're going to buy it. If it comes out tomorrow, it's going to be huge. It doesn't matter. They could shadow drop it. They could do a Playboy Cardi or something. They could just drop it whenever they want. It doesn't matter. They don't have to market. They already know their game is so huge. It's not going to make a dent.
No,
It's like Coca-Cola. What's the point?
Exactly. Well, I think it's crazy. Like, I did not realize this until a while ago. I mean, I knew this, but it's just kind of like Red Dead, 2 games, has sold over 92 million copies. Like, that is insane. That is insane.
It's unbelievable. It's historic.
Like, you don't think that. You don't think that game is sold, that series. I mean, it's hard to even call it a series. It's been 2 games. But it's like, you don't think that that's sold almost 100 million copies. You just don't think that, but it has.
Yeah, and it's wild to think that a lot of our favorite series, like in total, 13, 14 games in some of the series that we're playing, specifically Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts has sold a lot of copies comparatively to its peers and adversaries in that particular space, in that particular genre. I mean, it's sold more than Persona, that's for sure. So, I mean, and Persona is so big.
Oh my God, I can't.
So,
I can't.
You know what I mean. So,
no,
and you would think like,
just,
dang,
dude.
Kingdom Hearts is so big, but it sold less than 2 Red Dead games, And so,
Persona, man. Oh my God.
I have you like in a mode right now. You're just like, oh my God.
No, it's just Persona, bro. Like, I think Persona does so many great things, but I also just don't think it's anywhere near one of the best games I've ever played.
It's probably one of the most glazed video games of all time.
It is. Well, just as a series. I mean, because, literally, it's so funny. Like, I literally talked to someone the other day, and they're like, yeah, the only reason that I thought Persona 3 Reload was a 10 was because I like Persona.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Okay.
That's nuts.
Okay.
You know what? The bias is crazy. Just the straight up, like, I don't want to use this word, but the obsession, the ingrained, born with obsession that goes into Persona. There you go. It's something that Sonic fans also have, right? Where people are just completely over obsessed and hyper fixated with something to the point where they don't even know if it's good or bad. They have no judgment.
Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic. Fortnite. We love Fortnite. Like, and Persona 3 has the most boring just
Dude,
opening just everything. It just takes so long to pick up. It's so
I gotta lay it out. I gotta lay it
boring.
out here. I literally, so I had purposely held off on playing Persona 3, because I played Persona 5 in late 2017, early 2018,
Right.
or 2018, before Smash. So I played it then, and I thought it was a good game, but honestly, I didn't finish it because I had literally got so just burnt out and bored during Futaba's Palace, and so I just kind of was like, whatever, I don't really care. So I never came back to it. Then Royal came out in 2020, so I finally finished playing it with Royal. And I'm like, this is a really good game. Like, I think it has a lot of good things going for it. Like, I think I would rate Persona 5 Royal like a 9, like a 9 out of 10. I think it was a great game. It did a lot of great things. I don't think,
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of frustrating fights like Okamura.
Yes.
And I mean, there's just a lot of other things. I think that it's easy to get bored with the monotonous day-to-day life stuff. I think now, granted, P5 does a way better job of that than P3, but more nonetheless, like, I thought it was a good game. I understood why people liked it. So, I played Persona 4 Golden when it came to PC that same year. It really liked Persona 4 Golden. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play P3 whenever it comes. And I'm like, actually, I'm just going to wait. So I waited because, the remake rumors were just forever rampant.
Popping
and
off.
When it finally came out, I was knee deep into Rebirth. I didn't touch it until, oh God, like late 2024. And even then, I didn't end up beating it until like over like winter break, Christmas break. And so I finished that and I'm like, man, this literally, I don't understand. I do not understand. I don't care. Like, people will sit here and tell me the story. Okay, take the story out of it, because you can take the story out of it in this instance. How are you going to tell me that a game that you do absolutely nothing for a month at a time in is just peak fiction? I don't get it, because I sat in that game and I went to school. I'm like, okay, go to class. Okay, come back home from class. Okay, do nothing. Go do this, go do that. And then it's like, also, that's the thing that I think that P5 deserves credit on. The palace system in that game is so much better than P3, because with Tartarus, it's like you just can go grind all the floors in one day and you just don't have to go back. It's like,
right.
There's no point to the game. It's so boring. Like,
they did not have to be so accurate with the monotony with the remake. Like,
they could do so much
to
fix it. It's insane. It's so boring and tedious. And it's like, I thought, I came away, I was not interested. And also, by the way, I literally could not have given two craps about the story until the Yokohama trip in August. Like, when you go and you might meet Aigis, right, at the mansion. It's like the first time that I was like, okay, like, wait, whoa, this is interesting. What's going on here? It's the first time I was interested in the story. It's like the other part of it, I had no attachment to any character, no nothing. And I just don't get it. I know I'm in the minority on this, so, whatever. But, like,
no, I agree
still,
with you
man,
completely.
It's crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy to me that people just glaze this stuff when it's like, dude, like, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just the game reviewer in me that I just have to look at things objectively. But I don't know, man. It's like, I just can't get behind a system that basically forces you to play 10 hours of doing just go to school, answer this, do social link, do this, do this, do this, and just repeat.
Metaphor does it a lot better. Metaphor does it so much better.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I probably won't be playing Metaphor, to be honest. I'm taking my Atlas break.
That's fine. Yeah, no. People used to get on me for being so much more into like Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth than I was into Persona 5. Now, mind you, I love Persona 5. I think it's a great product, right? But, Digimon Story, and it's not even that I'm a Digimon fan, because, I played Digimon across, since Dawn and Dusk. I really didn't play the original World games when I was a kid. But, since Dawn and Dusk came out, I was like, dude, you have to understand, like, Diamond and Pearl, we were burnt out of like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in school. And this is really weird. And I don't know if anybody else's school went through this, but we were just like, guys, there's this Digimon game that came out that's kind of, like, we got to play this, it's kind of a competitor. So me and all my friends in middle school picked up Digimon Dawn and Dusk. And I put like 1,000 hours into that game. I did every single thing possible in that game. I got every single Digimon. I loved it, dude. I loved it. Now, mind you, that's what Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth is. Those games in Japan are Digimon Story games, but they only started using the Digimon Story name when Cyber Sleuth came out. The first one did on the Vita. So I'm going to be honest with you. Cyber Sleuth, when Time Stranger comes out, that's going to be probably one of my favorite turn-based games. And that's wild to say for people who haven't played Digimon Story. They're probably just like, what are you talking about? Because honestly, it's fairly niche. I mean, it did sell like 1 million copies or whatever, and I know that's not a lot, but for Digimon it is, because Digimon's pretty niche nowadays. It's way more mature. It's not really for kids like it used to be. And I wouldn't even say it used to be for kids, but it's just more, it's geared towards adults. Digimon's definitely geared towards adults. But if y'all haven't played Cyber Sleuth, definitely pick it up, because that's the game that I preferred playing over Persona. It just was way less monotonous. I actually felt like something was happening. And the story just immediately grips you. It's a nutty plot. And I don't want to get too deep into it, so I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to spoil people on what's going on if they haven't played it, because I'm sure a lot of people haven't. But yeah,
no, that's fair. That's fair. Goodness, there's a lot to look forward to. Seriously, I think that's something that a lot of people weren't expecting to just drop this year, even though it was announced so long ago. So I think that's super exciting for Time Stranger specifically.
Right. I was bringing that up like to y'all when I got rumors about it like many months ago. I was like, dude, the things that I'm hearing about this game from the people that actually know about what's happening, like it was all true. All the rumors that I was told about that game were completely true. Like everything that we know about Time Stranger, that they told us about Time Stranger, it's true. Like, because all the rumors came like in a bundle. And I was like telling y'all about it. I'm like, dude, this is insane. And then they dropped the trailer and they drop all this info. And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually the video game that they were talking about. So none of it was cap. It was all real. Dude, that's probably one of my most anticipated games of the year, honestly. Just based on the fact that Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, both of them made me just cry like a baby, dude. Incredible stories. They're going to have English voice acting in Time Stranger, which they did not have for the first 2 Cyber Sleuth games. So,
good for Bandai.
That's crazy. I don't even think Survive had English. Yeah, so
100%. No, that's sick. Dude,
yeah,
I have to
it's a big
say,
deal.
kind of off topic of games, but there was a pretty crazy, I'm sure you saw this, but Microsoft kind of basically just revealed this week that they have made the first, they basically made a new form of matter using
the quantum
this new chip called the
chip.
Majorana.
Yeah, the Majorana 1.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it blew my mind. So quantum computing is something that, people are either very excited about or very terrified of, because it could change the world. There's people in that comment section for Microsoft's unveiling of this thing that they've created that are literally talking about that they're crying, just emotions are just coming out of their body, and just aggression, about just how they feel about this crazy development that Microsoft has made. And you have to understand, it's going to be nuts, dude. It's going to be unbelievable when that's actually a product, dude. What are we going to do with that?
No, I know. Well, you saw what they showed of how much cooling, this thing has to have all this cooling to keep it cold. And it's interesting because quantum computing in particular is really fascinating for the fact that, computers nowadays process data in bits.
Yeah.
But quantum computing and this Majorana chip is going to basically process data in a qubit.
Yep, qubit
is what it's called, which is just so crazy. I don't know. I love all the tech stuff, and it's really, really fascinating that they've been able to do this. The thought that a company has managed to basically make a new form of matter is crazy. It's crazy.
And just watching the video and them describing it, it's just unfathomable. If you just see kind of our current tech and our current chips and see how detailed they are and how much they have to put into, just how complex, you get like an Intel chip or an AMD chip, and you're like, golly, this CPU is so small compared to how much it's doing. I feel like these new graphics cards are just rendering the Matrix, like, so it's just wild
all
to
AI.
think. It is, yeah, but that's literally what's happening. Our tech is just getting so impressive. I'll give it to Apple. Yeah, I want to give it to Apple because I know we're talking about Microsoft, but when Apple decided to make their own silicon in-house, like just Apple Silicon, like that was a game changer because there is no laptop from Windows that is comparable to the M4 Max. Like there's no laptop that's comparable. The most powerful Windows laptop is not even remotely close to Apple's tech. It's insane how powerful their computers have gotten.
The M series chips are amazing. I mean,
yeah,
I had
nuts.
an iPad freshman year of college for a little bit that was a iPad Pro M1. I mean, that thing was insane for the time. I mean, I felt so, I mean, I worked, used that basically as like a tablet laptop hybrid for a little bit. And I mean, it was just crazy how much that was able to do in comparison to like laptops around me running like i5 chips, even i7s.
Yeah. And the horsepower is nuts. Like I seen a comparison recently between like the most powerful like $5,000 Razer Blade and the M4 Max MacBook Pro. Oh my God, dude. The Razer Blade was getting cooked. It was getting
I'm not
so
even gonna
cooked.
lie. It took me like 5 seconds to realize you were talking about like the Razer Blade.
Yeah, the
like,
Razer Blade laptop.
I was
yeah.
like, Razer Blade? Like what Razer Blade has a chip?
Right, no, like the Razer Blade laptop from Razer. Like Razer, their laptops are like
I know. I'm
some of the
I'm
best
so beat
laptops in the
down.
market.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. I had hey, if you're a reader of the website, we greatly appreciate it. Well, if you were trying to access the website on, today, Thursday, the 20th, you couldn't. And I had to spend almost 9 hours today trying to figure that out. So I'm a little run down.
A lot
That's
of
all
work,
right.
bro. Stressed me out today, bro, and definitely stressed you out.
It happens. I think it's really interesting to me to think that like, we're in a lucky place. Like I have, 2 degrees for IT. A lot of people, I just wonder how it is for people who are running their websites and that they just don't have, knowledge behind that. Cause it gets weird, dude. Like, I have schooling for it and I didn't know what the heck was going on.
You're like, what's happening?
Like,
what are you talking about? Put it in layman's terms.
Dude, it's just one of those things, man. It's like, I'm always up so late working on Final Weapon stuff. Like we had, I put out a Xenoblade video this morning, and I was up till 7 a.m. working on it, and I went to bed, and I woke up at like 11:45, and I had like 20 messages about the site's down, code red, DEFCON 4. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I had to hop on here and code my way through it and finally got in. I mean, and the funniest part about it all is because we ran out of memory. We had 20
we didn't have any more space.
20 kilobytes of memory left on our
we get no warning about that stuff. It's just, oh, you ran out of space, turn it off. Like,
yeah, well, I've got it configured now, but yeah, it was a mess to say the least. Oh my gosh, I could not figure out what was wrong for the life of me. And then, man, our hosting provider is, I think they're a good partner. They do good work, but the people I was talking to today were clueless, man. Oh my gosh, I'm like, telling me we can't we ended up switching to a different server with better capacity, and was told, oh, we can't move it over here. I'm like, it's a virtual machine,
right?
It's a virtual machine. And he keeps telling me all this stuff. I'm like, dude, oh my god, man. But anywho, I'm just glad we got the site back online. That was a mess.
Yeah, it was a huge mess, bro. And I have to be very careful with my words here. The company that I work for, right? There's a new project that we're doing, and it's a very big deal, and I'm a part of that project. And so there are people that we have to communicate with on Teams and on Zoom calls, and just constantly every single day, something's going wrong with the alpha version of this project, right? And so, I'm reporting all these issues, and I'm not coding, the back end. I'm not doing any of that. I'm kind of just the one that's testing it in a live environment to see if it's working. And these just people, and I have to be very particular about my verbiage here, these people, right, will just message me back and be like, did you try the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? And I'm like, what are you saying? What do you mean? And sometimes I'm like, I've already told you that I've tried that. You're getting on my nerves. This is a live environment. There are people's lives on the line here. Like, people's lives are on the line. We need to have this done today. I need a response to my message right now. We cannot hold on to this person's stuff any longer. It needs to be finished, right? So the people that I have to deal with, that are working on that stuff, they think I know everything. Bro, I'm literally just testing it. I'm telling you what's going wrong with it. I'm telling you plainly what the issue is with the product. And, it takes them forever to fix it. And they also just don't read half the message. They're like, oh, did you try the thing? And I'm like, bro, I literally initiated my message with every single thing that I tried so that you wouldn't ask me the question, so that we could expedite the process, right? So that I could narrow down, because the whole point is, trial and error. Let's see what works and what doesn't, right? Let's get it all out the way. And, we're knocking things out the way. I've already knocked everything out of the way that I needed to knock out of the way, bro. Now you just figure out what's wrong with it and fix it, bro, because I need it done. It's a live environment, So I understand dealing with people who can't figure it out or don't listen or, can't put things in layman's terms for people to understand. It's like, yeah, I understand. I pay for this. I understand. But you're expecting a little too much from me. You're expecting a little too much from me. So, it's frustrating. And so that's what I do outside of Final Weapon. And it's a lot, bro. And it stresses me out. And I'd have to deal with it every single day that I go to work. And, I had just people that I was dealing with, customers of mine, because I'm a sales tech, that were just giving me the hardest time, bro. And I just and I was also dealing with, getting messages about the site. I literally woke up and, Soul's like, the site's down. It's down. And I'm like, oh my God, bro, what am I going to do about this? I can't do anything about this. The people that need to do something about it are sleeping and the site's down. And I'm like, I'm literally putting on clothes right now, getting ready for work, So, having a job outside of Final Weapon can be tough because, I want to be able to participate in it all the time and I can't.
Yeah, I think people, and this is not this is definitely not look at us, put some on our name or anything. But I think most people that read content from websites, and this is not just small outlets, 90% of people writing for games have 2 jobs. I think people fail to realize that because everyone at our website has 2 jobs. Everyone at almost every independent outlet that I know of has 2 jobs. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna, I don't want to sit here because at the end of the day, I mean, that's just the state of our industry. It's so hard to make money that's sustainable, right?
Yes.
And I think that's why, if you enjoy reading and listening to stuff from independent outlets and stuff, definitely, I always try to at least do my part to amplify that because a lot of the times, that's the only way that people can continue doing that. A lot of the time, people don't get paid for that or, they're not making a livable wage from it and they're just doing it out of passion. I mean, we're definitely not making a livable wage from Final Weapon.
At all. There was a period of time where we were like, oh my God, we're going to be rich, and then it all went away. From
Google. Yeah.
Yeah, Google. Thank you.
It is what it is. But again, you notice when that Google update hit, a lot of sites shifted to, all right, how can we get as much SEO slop in our articles as possible so we can rank higher and make money? And you know what? That's some people's business models. I'm not going to judge people. That's fine. But, we've always stuck to the principle of just just basic, no clickbait, no BS, straight to the point stuff. And it's definitely penalized us, I think, over time.
Of course. And we've kept our integrity through all of it. It is what
it is. I think that's important. That's been something I've thought was important from the beginning.
Of course.
But I think my message with this is, if you're listening to this podcast and hate it, great. I don't really care. I mean, if you love it, great. But I think that, if you're watching and consuming things from people, creators or independent sites or this or that or whatever, definitely do your part, even if it's a simple retweet or a like or anything or a share. Like that really goes a long way for helping people continue to make content, because a lot of the time, and I think that this is something, I didn't really think about a lot until, I started doing it, is like it's really a thankless job most of the time. Like,
It is. It's been
take
thankless, bro.
YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Everyone that uploads on YouTube, it's free content. Like you're not getting, yeah, you're getting paid, quote unquote, but there's no guarantee that you're getting paid. I mean, half the time, and also it's not like Netflix where people have to pay a subscription to access your content. Like, no, that content that you upload is literally free. Like you can just search it on YouTube and it's completely free and someone spent time making it. And so that's always what makes me laugh when people go into comments and just try to tear things apart. It's like it's totally valid if you disagree with something. And if you want to have like a genuine conversation about, hey, I disagree about this and here's why. Like I want to have, a respectful conversation about it. I think that's always fair. And I honestly enjoy those conversations a lot of the time. Like I've had a lot of people under some of the bigger, like, theory videos I've made on this channel, like tell me I'm crazy and wrong, but we've had respectful conversations about it and it's been productive. But, it doesn't do a lot when you go under channels of a review or whatever, whoever. I mean, it happens to us, it happens to everyone. But just being like, this is terrible. Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know, man. It just makes me laugh. It's like you literally got to watch that for free. But I
Yeah.
think, I don't know. I mean,
And
I
we
don't
put
know.
effort into it, and I'm not trying
But
to
it's
like
not just us,
make
it's everyone.
Oh,
Like
of course, yeah.
everything that everyone uploads, they put effort into. And I think that, if you're watching stuff on YouTube, you should think about that. The fact that like even if it might not seem like it's this incredibly high production thing, even if it's someone that just started out on YouTube that's uploading clips of Call of Duty, right, or Marvel Rivals or whatever, it's like they're putting the effort in to try to create things for you to watch for free.
Yeah,
And
it's
at the
true.
very least you can do is be respectful about it, even if you don't like it, I think. But
I agree. I
I
don't
don't
want
know.
people to pity us, like we all
No,
go through the
definitely
same
not.
things. A lot of us have to, the majority of people are working, at least you would think, the majority of adults are having to go through that. And
Yeah.
for us, it's like, we do have, friends in the industry. We have, adversaries. At least I don't want to use the word adversary, but, everybody, in order to exist, there is going to be competition, in every field, right? Not just the gaming industry, but just everywhere you go. Somebody's competing with you, whether you like it or not. And so, we want to make the best content we can, at least what we're capable of doing. And it's only going to get better the more that we know,
True.
and we appreciate all the comments and everybody that watches our content. And, we had to do this. I mean, we had to make a YouTube channel, websites just don't make a lot of money. We have to be more multifaceted with our streams. And so, on one hand, we have passion for it. And on another hand, you spend 12, 18 hours on one thing, if not months, and it doesn't make you any money, and sometimes you don't even get anybody watching the content in the first place. Like these weaponized episodes, like people are watching them, but not really, so inevitably we'll get people and you'll be one of those people watching it and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm one of the guys, like, but I was there since episode whatever. But
no, it's crazy because I mean, and even so, like, yeah, we definitely, when we had quickly decline. I can't even speak. We had quickly, oh my gosh, we had quickly declining revenue from our website, and we had to pivot. And I had always wanted to do YouTube. It just wasn't feasible because I was overseeing the website, and I was like, you know what, we need to do the YouTube too. So the YouTube started, and then I got myself more involved than I should have been, and here we are.
yeah, you put
But,
a lot of effort into it and pretty much took it over. But
here we are, but it's fine. But I mean, it's like, we do it because we care, but like, I mean, I mean, I don't care. Like, I think it's so funny that there's so many people that like hide their financials from people. Like, I will be completely transparent. Like, we don't make much on YouTube at all. And also, like, our biggest video, Final Fantasy versus 13, the huge remaster, is that we made $0, and we could have made
it's not
money on it.
monetized.
We could have made money on it, but I made the decision that we had trailers that had to be in there, and we had footage that had to be in there, and it was going to be copyrighted either way. And so we made the decision. I was like, you know what? I feel like that people need to see the vision instead of us making the money. And we did that. And I'm glad we did it. But I mean, a lot of the times, that kind of stuff comes into play. And like, we'll release content not monetized because we want people to see it the way it should be seen.
Of course.
So, I mean, it's just part of it's reality. But, I think that's the beauty of the games industry and just content creation in general is, as long as you've got a passion for it, it'll continue to grow. But yeah, I mean, it's a real deal, man. I think there's a lot of people that just don't go beyond like surface level thinking about like what goes on behind the scenes of a video. I really
Yeah,
don't.
of course. When I started, my Discord server, right? And inevitably when everything fell apart, I was like, I want to name this something cool, and I was like, it's going to be named Final Weapon. And this is like a year before we made the website. And we just wanted to be a part of the hobby that we love so much. That was me. And I was like, I love Final Fantasy and I wanted to be a part of the Final Fantasy community and I wanted to make a big difference. Whether that was a good difference or a bad difference, like it didn't really matter to me at the time. And so, everybody was very envious of, the success initially that we were getting. And, we went through a lot to get to this point and you kind of just have to brush it off. And it's tough, dude. Like we've been here for almost 6 years and, it's been a journey of ups and downs. And the only way to really get this far, and even then, we haven't really made it as far as we wanted to, or, I think we've done more than what we expected to do. At least if we're looking back to our original, dreams and aspirations and goals for what we thought this was going to be, this was all supposed to be a hobby. So inevitably it became something so big that we had to, make it into a business of some sort. But, we just wanted to be a part of the community. We wanted to be a part of the industry. And all of this comes from passion, and you can't do, big things. You can't be an entrepreneur, at least if you don't have the passion to do it.
No. The best advice that you can give someone always is you have to enjoy what you do, whether it's work or whatever, like a job. I always tell people, like, you have to find a job that you don't hate waking up for in the morning.
Of course.
And I think that's anyways is true because, I mean, we've had people come around through Final Weapon and walk through the doors and write content for, various reasons. I mean, we had one of our writers express a lot of concern about like, oh my gosh, I'm going to write about games and then I'm going to hate them because I'm going to write about them. But it's like, you've got to find a balance and you got to find a way to do these things without hindering your enjoyment of them, I think,
I agree. Like with my job that I have right now, that's not Final Weapon, I don't wake up hating going to work. I just go to work and I have people there that I enjoy talking to. And so, I like interacting with people, and I wouldn't say I'm an extroverted person, but honestly, you find those people that you enjoy and you find that group. And sometimes you just have to have a group, dude. You gotta have people that you can come up with.
Oh, you gotta have a group.
You gotta have a group. You can't do everything on your own. I never would have done any of this without the people that I have by my side. We would have never been able to get this far if it wasn't for the people who have came and left, and especially for the people who are still here. So everybody that subscribes and everybody that reads our content, like, you're a part of that journey. And inevitably when we, hit the big leagues, Jackie Wells, we're going to be there, dude. And it's going to be epic. And, regardless of how many setbacks we have, whether it's Google or, the SEO changing, we're going to figure it out, dude. We're going to figure it out, and we're here, and Weaponized is here. And, I want to be multifaceted, and I want Final Weapon to be able to provide interesting content that people can watch. And, I want us to have gorgeous visuals. Inevitably, we have to have the budget for it and we have to have the talent, but, over time, the budget's hard, especially when you don't make a lot of money. It's difficult to do what you want to do. I talked about this in literally the last episode of Weaponized where, I was talking about how I wanted to make this big story, and I'm still going to do it, but how difficult it is to think, man, if this does pop off, people are going to be calling me or they're going to be emailing me and they're going to want to do things that I don't want to do, and the only way to really get your vision out is to make compromises sometimes. And honestly, I don't want to make any compromises. I want to do everything by myself. And so that's why we're going to stay independent, because honestly, if we're not independent, people are going to have control over over our stuff, bro. Like, I don't want people
No,
having control over our brand.
they can pry it from my dead body.
Of course, yeah. I'd rather just completely disintegrate than have anybody else have any creative vision over what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
It's a tricky path to follow. I mean, I think it makes sense for some people because, it's genuinely a thing of like, they want out. And I think that's totally fair. Like, we're talking about like acquisition, right? Like, I think it's totally fair. There's definitely people that want out of the business and they end up, selling off to one of these giant, media companies that has like 20 sites each. And, that's great. But it's like, I don't know. I just couldn't live to watch whatever happen.
yeah, we spent so much time on this, bro, and just to think like that, if somebody else had control over it, like it would never be the same. It would never. I just the fact that we've put so much effort into it and that we have so much passion for it, like every single moment of what we've done would be ripped away and ultimately made irrelevant. It would just be
Yeah.
irrelevant. And
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a tightrope. I think you got to follow, but yeah, I mean, our point being, we'll be here until we can't anymore.
yeah, of course. And, we'll put ourselves through the motions as we always do every single day. And every single hour you spend in your day, no matter what these people tell you, it doesn't have to be spent making money. You could spend it doing what you want to do. And, even though I want to be rich, just for the simple fact that I have a lot of aspirations and I have travel goals and I have things that I want to do and a way that I want to live, like I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity and my vision to be successful. And, success is it's an inevitability. Success is an inevitability when you put your heart to it. And, when you actually put out good content. So people will see it. They'll see it. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said. But overall, I mean, thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of Weaponized. A lot of stuff happening in the industry, and next week's gonna be pretty exciting. We got a big game.
It's true. It's true.
Monster Hunter on Friday, and I'm really looking forward to that one. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it will be a blast. I can't wait for
But
Monster Hunter, bro.
absolutely. But once again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time on Weaponized.